Hey everyone, it's Gadget here, and I've got another speed paint for you. I created a new D&D monster, so I recorded this over 5 little sessions. It's about 2.5 hours worth of drawing in total. Concept on this one, I've called this a Kethel, and he is a forest spirit. So you can see I'm boxing out the body here, and then just trying to get the anatomy right, how I want it. I kind of wanted him to be kind of thin and long and spindly. You can see that kind of coming into his fingers, these kind of arching fingers. The intention is to have a bit of magic in them. And then this deer head, or kind of deer skull. So yeah, I'm just trying to get this shape right, get the antlers in. And this is one of the longer drawings I've done, so this is actually, the speed up is going to go a lot faster. So this was just generally the first session. I also then sectioned out the head for colouring later, and I don't think it worked 100%, but it's not the worst I've ever done. But that's the kind of the basic sketch of him done. We then come in on the second one. I realised I'd put the thumb on the wrong side of his hand because, you know, I'm an idiot. But yeah, I'm getting in, and this time I kind of want to do a base colour. See, the other thing that I wanted to do with this, I wanted to do a drawing that didn't have an outline. Everything I've done to this point has been very cartoony and has kind of thick black outlines like you would see in a comic book. So I wanted to try something just using the oil brush oil brushes in Photoshop. With, like I say, without having a hard outline. So obviously I've got my pencil drawing here to kind of draw around. But I wanted to start with this kind of basic kind of flat purple colour. Because I kind of wanted it to be a little bit of a darker image and a kind of a darker creature. So yeah, I've created this for my D&D campaign. A Kethel is a forest spirit. It is generally a benign spirit, or this is how I've written him anyway. This is a benign spirit. It kind of exists in the fair woods, and travellers, you know, will rest and see. They might see one kind of watching them, but he won't do anything. He's just observing. However, should the travellers, you know, decide to screw around in the forest, destroy stuff, anything like that, he will ruin their day. He will get involved and he will kill them. So here I am creating some kind of shadowing for his musculature, just to give outlines of it, but like I say, not hard outline. This one's been a lot of experimentation as well. You'll see me erasing a lot of stuff as I go on. But this almost black edge, this is kind of, you know, shadow. The light is going to be coming from his hand in this picture. So I wanted to create a shadow. And then here I'm kind of creating the musculature using kind of a wide brush, just to give the impression of muscles. I'm not being too precious about the detail about where they sit, because everyone's muscles sit slightly differently, but this is just to kind of give everything a bit of shape. And I'll go over with kind of highlights and lowlights in a future session. But yeah, I'm just trying to kind of get the basics of his musculature down. And I'm only doing it for the torso and the arms as well. I'm not doing it for his neck and his head yet. I have different plans and ideas for that. You see here kind of just going around the muscles, creating a little bit of shadowing, just to kind of give an impression of where they all lie. He has like a 12-pack or something. The area where his heart would be, I've kind of left that open because I had an idea for that one. I wanted him to have some kind of almost wooden looking armor, which is what we get to in this session. So I've taken a green and then creating this kind of frame that sits around his muscles. I kind of wanted a kind of exposed flesh, but then just this sort of protective thing. And I was sitting there looking at some references and then just trying to kind of make it kind of spread out like naturally, like branches of ivy would grow. Then we're putting in some shadow underneath it, you know, just trying to keep it textural, shall I say, trying to give it a bit of depth and a bit of flavour. Then we are putting kind of a grain in here. I kind of wanted maybe a wood grain, maybe some kind of dirt and detritus. But again, it's just to give it depth and to give it that woody look. This took me bloody ages, I can tell you. The amount of time this took, I wish I hadn't done it, but it actually ends up turning out quite alright. I don't mind the end result of it. It comes up pretty nicely. Yeah, there were just a lot of strands, and this is one of those ideas, I'll just try this out and then I'll just carry on with it, and then before I know it, I've spent about 40 minutes doing this. Be thankful you're watching this at 1500%. Yeah, nearly done. Last couple of strands. And there we go. I think this was it for the session. Oh, no. So yes, I wanted kind of leaves and little branches coming off, like almost like he's sprouting, and that's where I had that hole for his heart. So I actually found a leaf brush. I just started putting leaves around. And then I dropped a shadow using the layer settings, just to give, again, everything a little bit of depth. So the next session comes in, and we are doing the face today, or the head. So I bring up that layer that I created earlier on to kind of like structure out his face, and I'm just using different oil brushes and blending and just trying to get it going in. When you see the finished result, it will still look a bit segmented, and that's where I'm not 100% happy with it. I think the problem is I was having to struggle kind of blending it all together. I'm not that good with the oil brushes. Like I say, most things I do tend to be quite solid colours, so this idea of creating kind of multiple colours and then kind of blend them together, it's a little new to me. So it kind of looks like he's wearing a blue helmet, really. But hey-ho, it is what it is. So yes, I basically took one blue, and then I just took various lights and shades of it, and kind of structured around it. I then kind of had my first stab at doing a kind of ball of power. And it didn't really work out. I do change this later on. I was just trying the various kind of Photoshop tools to see if I could make it work quickly. And evidently I didn't, but here we get the kind of the light casting on him, and this is kind of what will give him shape and outline. He has no eyes, the sockets are empty, so I kind of drew in the background of that, and then you have the light kind of catching on the edge of his muscles and the edge of his body and his antlers. So yeah, our light source is kind of directly in front of him. I probably could have done maybe a bit more with the lighting on this one, but I think I was alright. Then I'm using the kind of the blend tool to just kind of blend it all in. Yeah, and the smudge tool to just kind of drag the colours on the face around. I say it wasn't perfect. Then I start kind of doing some shadow, because everyone likes a little bit of shadow. And I'll knock the transparency down just to give it a bit of darkness, so you can see the kind of the light is to his left hand side. This is the only bit of it which isn't using an oil brush, but hey ho. And I start kind of putting in a little bit of detail and a bit of shadowing into his fingers. Knock the opacity down, and then we get into the final session, which is where we are going to kind of finish him off. So I do another idea for a kind of power ball, sit in his hand, just this kind of blue energy, make some kind of vapor around it. I realised that I haven't done his antlers yet, so get in on the antlers. We'd already put the highlights on, but we hadn't actually done the base colour, which seems like a really backwards way to do things, but hey ho, thank God for layers. And what you'll see me do kind of once I've got this in here, I'll take the pencil outline away, and then I'll clean up edges using shadows. This is just a palette knife brush, just to kind of give a bit of kind of jaggedy edges to it. And then just another layer on top of just a different colour brown, just to kind of give some texture, and we knock the opacity down. His teeth, I'd forgotten about his teeth. But then we should take away the pencil drawing in a minute. Oh wait, no, kind of cracks over his skull. Because, this is an undead creature, this is an ancient thing. And we put in the background. And the idea I had for the background on this one is he's kind of walking out of a kind of forest portal gate kind of thing. So I wanted to kind of put two trees behind him that would then house the portal gate from wherever he happens to be spawning from. And these are just kind of really basically done trees. They're not the focus of the image, it's just to kind of give some depth to it. And then after that I go into a black, I believe. No, Photoshop crashed on me, that's what happened. I go into a black layer and I start just creating like kind of shadow trees in the background. Again, just another kind of behind layer. I have a couple of attempts at this and they kind of go wrong and I have to redraw them. I get there in the end though, and yeah, I was quite happy with this one. So yeah, this guy's going to make an appearance in my D&D campaign. A bit of fog behind him just to kind of give a little bit of depth. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. It's pretty much done here. This was a fun one and a bit of a challenge, probably one of the longest ones I've done. Like I say, it was about 2 or 3 hours of me drawing this one. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you liked it, please do like, subscribe, all the YouTube algorithmy things. And I'll see you when I've got something else to show you. Probably something in the next couple of weeks. I'll do another kind of big piece like this. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, and good night.